Okay, hello, greetings, and welcome everyone. All right, let's continue with the Hermetic journey. Now, the elements. Now, we've covered the fundamentals of the body mechanics of the elements, where you pull the joints for the magnetic phase, and you expand the joints from the center of the joints for the electric, and you pluck the joints for air element, and you hang the joints and feel gravity pass through you for earth element, and relax and let go and hang the muscles. So you've got the basic mechanics there. We've covered that quite thoroughly over many dozens of videos. Now, we're going to go more into the personality profile of each element. So often for water element, I describe holding a baby. And this personality profile, it fits it perfectly. You know, there's a protective instinct when you hold a baby, there's a social obligation, there's a taking care obligation. You have a whole spectrum of qualities that have a maternal love instinct connected to them. So when you connect into those qualities and then mechanically tune the mechanics to the feeling of the quality, you get a type of auto refinement in your method. So what I'm getting at here is define the personality of the energy first, and then your mechanics will express and fuel and energize that personality. And there's a type of common sense. You don't want to pull the joints too hard if you're holding a baby. You want to be really gentle. You want to be really loving. So your body mechanics and how you're enlivening the personality, the energy, perfectly synchronize. Now your mind is tuning into a perfect idea, and it's guiding your feeling and it's guiding your body mechanics to become synchronized inside the element. So this process of getting synchronized is ultimately starting with your mind's concept. So this is where mental transference comes in. You have this ability to mentally transfer into things and intuitively become sensitive to what you're transferring to. Then your consciousness analyzes and interacts and harmonizes and balances and grounds out the intuitive information flow through your astral personality. And then your body mechanics are going to follow that with a naturalness, and we get a syncing of the three bodies in resonance with that idea. In this case is the elements, one of the elements. So your mental transference ability to put your mind in something and simply let your mind become something else, it's really the foundation of your skill set. Now, when we're looking at the elements, being in positioning yourself in a place of power where the elements are peaking, that has it makes it easier. What is the fire element? You go to a volcano. You go as close to the molten lava as you can, you touch the rocks, you can feel the consciousness and power of the fire element, the spirits of the fire. And then you let your mind become that, and guess what? You have this huge potential power resting on your consciousness, and then you can let that come through your astral and physical experience. So when you've mentally transferred into the fire element, you're sitting on the volcano, you got your hands on the rocks, you can feel the pulse and vibration of the ground trembling because of the pressure of this molten lava, and your mind is unifying with it, observing, and then allowing it to permeate your astral body, and then expanding your physical mechanics to match that. As you get this syncing of the three bodies onto the element, you take advantage of the element's natural potential. So with fire element, it's willpower. You tune in and you amplify your mind's ability to express its will while you're practicing that. When you do the water element and you're in a big body of water, in the ocean or in a lake, then of course you're going to be much more tuned to the cohesive quality. The ability for your mind to unify and become one with something and experience it completely. This unifying quality of the water element that allows you to identify, I am the water, I am this. Really practice releasing and becoming while you're doing water. So what we're ultimately after is the four divine qualities in the spirit being stimulated. And we have to start this from a physical astral level and then transform it up into the spirit. So what you build on the bottom affects the top. And then of course the earth element is density, how things come into form. So it's an aspect of the cohesion of the water, but the completion of all the elements come together to form the so all the elements come together to form matter. So fire, air and water produce earth, and this density is really going to come into all your practices. When you create a self-fulfilling prophecy within the Akasha for a particular outcome, a mastery of a frequency, a skill and so forth, you lock the earth element into it to make it real, to fulfill the prophecy from Akasha. So your insight and understanding of everything we're doing really is an aspect of the earth element. So you want to capitalize on that condensing potential inside the earth element when you're practicing. Now, when we look at air element, it's the insight mind. So you go onto the edge of a cliff, you stretch your mind out into the open space, feel the air currents, align your mind to those air currents, and as you're aligning your mind to those air currents, you're going to get a natural sense of freedom and openness and stimulation of ideas and feeling great and so forth. So when you're in that state of openness, really tune in the aspect of the air element you want. Do you want that insight mind that just sees solutions very easily and comfortably? Do you want the that part of the air element which is a free spirit? Do you want that part of the air element that is continually liberating and releasing the mind from holding on to things? What aspect are you actually after? And then tune into that, and then let that align through the astral body and then into the physical. So this mental transference skill into the fabric or the essence of what we're working with, this really sets everything up. You want to have that really locked in to your psyche, so that you can put your mind onto something and forget yourself instantly. Your ability to forget yourself is your ability to use your intuition. So step one mental training, where we separate the mind from meditation objects, super important. If you can't get that separation, then you'll be identifying your experience through your astral ego, and things won't function the way you really want them to. So really get separation of the layers to get integration of the layers perfectly and purely, to get them synced to the frequency you're working with. Okay, so this mental astral physical synchronicity that happens from a pure mental idea, which you get from exposing yourself to a powerful place where the elements exist in a very, very intense way, it leaps you ahead in all your Qigong exercises and all your training. And the reason why it puts you ahead is that you're going to find that as you practice various forms of Qigong, various exercises of different types, you're going to notice that you're as your base understanding of elements increases and your practical experience to manifest the elements increase, your ability to do all Qigongs increase, because they're composed of the elements. So when you pull extreme fire out, you pull extreme water, extreme air, and extreme earth, the quadrupolar magnet mixes in the middle to produce the magic of Qigong, to produce all the exercises you do. So the more you pull these extremes apart, work with them individually, the more refined and more easily you can do Qigong and work with energy, manifest ideas and information into astral and physical forms, and have success. The ease of success is directly proportionate to understanding and integration into the elements. So let me say that again. The ease of success is directly proportionate to the elements in your body. They are the building blocks of your success. So clearly defining the personalities you're working with within each energy element, tuning into the essence to get a pure mental idea, bring it into the astral, and then mechanically allow those energies to express themselves, whether you're using vital force to enliven or animate, or whether you're using Akasha to enliven or animate, or if it's an outward form using more light to enliven and animate, whichever one you're working on as a root energy for the manifestation of the element or the exercise, it all becomes easier when the quadrupolar magnet is strong. Now, the next aspect of these elements that you'll look at is the degree of equanimity within the elements. When the elements want to reorganize themselves in a particular Qigong, so when the elements reorganize themselves into a particular Qigong exercise based on your mental idea and the energy that you're projecting through that idea astrally to manifest, what happens is the level of equanimity of the element regulates its organizing power, its freedom to reorganize itself. Basically, if you're too sticky, the elements can't morph into what you want them to morph into. They're stuck. They're stuck to belief structures, they're stuck to emotions, they're stuck to all these old things which are hindering you. When you bring each element to equanimity and balance them within each other and do the Akasha exercises, you get flexibility in your mind substance, you get flexibility in your astral substance, and you get flexibility in your physical manifesting potential. So looking at this basic fundamental idea, you very quickly realize that element work makes everything else easy. Bringing elements into form and then bringing the elements out of form, qualitatively and quantitatively. That's the foundation of all your advanced work. The ease of manifestation, the ease of being able to get success comes back to these simple factors. Train your elements really, really well. Okay, thank you for your time, and I will see everybody on the next video. Stay safe and stay happy.